Hi everyone, welcome back to another chart of the week. I'm Lisa Miller. So how many sides are there to an economy? Well, if you see consumer data out there, it's usually reported in average. And I always believe that average is awful. And we have to dig deeper than that to really understand what's going on in the economy and any data set, really. So let's take a look at this data. For those of you who've been following along, you've seen these little red, green, squiggly lines. But for those of you that are new, let me explain. Let's look at the total on the far left-hand side. Basically, what I'm showing is the green is basically what percent of Americans today are basically spending as usual. They're not concerned at all about the economy. The red is basically the number of people that are anxious or very anxious and pretty much have pulled back or stopped their spending. So you can see that the green is much lower than the red, and it's been pretty consistent the last couple of months. But let's look at it by different demographic groups. So if you scooch over to the right, you can see by income and high, medium, and low. And the low income, look at the massive gap between the red and the green line. And not surprising that the lower income people are really struggling and they're more likely to have pulled back from their spending in general. So if your brand is more of a value brand, maybe you're feeling that. But if you look at the high income, it is the only demographic cohort on the page that the green has actually punched through the red. And that has not always been the case. We even saw anxiety among high income, but that's positive news if you're targeted to that cohort. Look at the next one, gender. Oh my goodness. You can see the massive gap between males and females. Historically, as I've been tracking this, women have always been more anxious. But what you can see is there's this massive gap between the red line for men versus women. And if you're targeted to men, maybe your business is doing a little better. And if you're targeted to women, maybe it's been a little tough. Now, ethnicity. It's kind of the same story, not a one size fits all. And what stands out? The Latino population is the most anxious relative to these demographic ethnicity cohorts. So what's the so what, now what? The reality of it is that we're not out of the woods from an economy standpoint. While overall, maybe we're inching our way up, but there are so many important differences by just these couple of demographic cohorts. And what to do as a brand is we need to understand how our consumers are feeling relative to overall spending and why they should choose your brand over other competitors. So it's always about you've got to make that experience worth it, the proposition worth it to win their share of wallet today in these tough economic times. Well, I hope you enjoyed this one. Please keep sharing it. Our list continues to grow. I hope you guys are finding these insights valuable. Thank you.